What's up, everybody? I'm showing you how to use the PFF Live Draft Assistant here. You can see that I'm in a 12-team PPR league here in Sleeper. I synced my league and used the Live Draft Assistant, and this is what it looks like. So immediately, it knows which team I am. So if I look at the Draft tab, I can see all the players that have been selected, and I can now see my suggestions just for me and my pick. So here I am. I'm picking at seventh. I can see the optimal pick is Cooper Kupp. Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, not bad options either. Austin Eckler as well. So I'm going to trust the algorithm. I know that PFF is trusted by all 32 NFL teams. Nathan Yankee, their ranker, is the number one ranker over the last 70 weeks, and they have great data science. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Cooper Kupp. And you can see as soon as I choose a player, every time a player is selected, the AI updates and tells me what my optimal pick is going to be for my next pick. So even though the draft is only at pick 9, I'm already preparing for my next pick in the second round, which is going to be the 6th pick in the second round. So I can see who I'm kind of charting towards. And the other cool thing is that I can start doing some research. So one of the things that we have here is a live updating cheat sheet. So this cheat sheet is going to cross players off for you. If I want to show the drafted players, I can. They'll get crossed off, or just for space saving, I'll get rid of them. And I can see the probability that players will be available for me in my next round. And why this is so useful is I can say, okay, like if I want to take Tony Pollard in my next round, what's the chances that Lamar Jackson's going to be available or Joe Burrow is going to be available? And I can sort of plot my course that way. So it makes it really easy to kind of figure out your next move. Okay, we're now at the turn here. So let's go ahead and I'll kind of talk you through what the pick grade means here. So the pick grade is the PFF kind of machine learning model telling you how likely that player is to be the best choice at that pick. So Tony Pollard has a score of 100 because he is going to give me the most points over the next kind of best possible option at running back if I were to choose a running back in the next round. And so Tony Pollard is the choice here. So I'm going to go. It's my turn now. I'm going to go ahead and find Tony Pollard and draft Tony Pollard. Okay, so once Tony Pollard gets selected, we'll then see my round 3 suggestions. Lamar, Burrow. So some really good quarterbacks here. If Hurts or Allen happen to be available, Patrick Mahomes already been taken, but I'm not picking until the 7th pick in the 3rd round. So there's a really good chance those players not going to be available. And so that's why they're not being recommended to me in my next pick. But just to go back to the pick grade, this is a combination of 3 things. The first is the ranking that Nathan Yankee gives the player. He's I think I said this, the number 1 ranker over the past 70 weeks. It also combines expert consensus. So we take a look at the ADPs from expert leagues, and that is another component of the pick grade. And then the last component of the pick grade is the PFF projection, the PFF projected points, which also factors in. And that's built off of the data for the players that, of course, all 32 NFL teams use every single day. So those 3 things contribute to the pick grade. That's what gives us our confidence level in each of these players. And again, what that grade is aiming to do is to see how many points this player is expected to contribute to you over the kind of replacement that you might have if you don't pick that player. So it's a pretty mathematically robust way of doing things, but you don't have to do any math yourself, which is great. The other nice thing is that because it updates every single pick, there's no such thing as getting a pick stolen, because if you take the player that's one of the players that's in my suggestions, I'm just going to automatically get the next kind of optimal suggestion. So it's kind of a pick stealing proof, if you will. Okay, so we're making the turn here. You can see both Hurts and Allen went. And the other thing that I want to talk about is the availability percentage. So if I go back to the cheat sheet here, this availability percentage, every time a player is taken, it's going to get updated. And what we're doing to predict the chances that a player is available is we look at all of the players on every other team, and based on that, teams will be more or less likely to take certain positions and certain players. And so we use the league ADP, which in this case is sleeper, and you can see we're using the sleeper ADPs here. And we combine that ADP with the makeups of each of the teams to predict who's going to be around. So as players are being picked, we're kind of sharpening the information that we have and getting more and more accurate in terms of who's going to be available for me. So it's really valuable when you're trying to decide who to pick to be able to see, okay, what are the chances that a certain player is around for me if I wait until the next round? And so what you can see here is, like, if I look at the cheat sheet, this is the next round availability. So I can already start to plot my course. If I were to take Lamar Jackson at my next pick, what does that mean in terms of the running backs that will be available? Like Joe Mixon has a chance to be available. Aaron Jones, who I really like, has got a chance to be available. So, I feel pretty good about if I get Aaron Jones in that spot. And that allows me to be always a step ahead, which is really great, because you never want to like take a player in one round and then realize you could have gotten a pretty comparable player in the next round. So if I'm thinking about quarterback right now, I get Lamar here. There's a 79% chance that Fields is still around. How close do I think Fields is to Lamar? I think is a really interesting question. If I don't go with Lamar here, there's a good chance that I could get Fields. I'm a big Lamar guy. I'm going to go with Lamar. I'm going to trust the process here. So let me go ahead and find Lamar. And Lamar Jackson. So I've got Kupp, Pollard, and Jackson. To make this video a little bit shorter, I'm going to come back when it's close to my pick and show you just a couple more picks. All right, I'm back. I am one pick away here. So I'm picking it at 4-6. You can see the suggestion algorithm here likes either TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, or Kittle. So looking here, like if I take Aaron Jones, he's the last guy in this tier. I'm thinking about tight end, kind of curious, what are the chances these guys are still around? I've got a really good shot at getting Waller, Pitts, or Goddard. I like Hawkinson and Kittle quite a bit. But you know what? I'm going to go with Aaron Jones. I'm going to grab Aaron Jones here and take my chances with one of those tight ends a little bit later on. Hopefully Waller's still around. So now I'm looking at round 5. I've got Alexander Madison, Miles Sanders, George Kittle. If he's still around, like I'll definitely snag Kittle if he's still around. We'll see. There's a shot, I think, that I can still snag Kittle, which would be awesome. But if not, it's going to be okay. So here goes the draft. So we can take a look at my team so far: Kupp, Pollard, Jackson, and Jones. I want to show you a couple cool things about the live draft assistant. So depending on what kind of a drafter you are, here's the league that I was doing. You might want to choose kind of a different augmentation to the strategy. So every time you enter, you get the PFF optimal pick, but you could augment that. So we could do a 0 RB build, or you could do a late round QB. I actually like doing late round QB, especially with like the Purdy's and the Pickett's available on the back end. And you could also do a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end stack. And what that does is it just increases the algorithm's tuning to give you those types of recommendations to kind of help you assemble the team the way you want to. The other thing is, if you're in a league with your buddies and you know which teams they like or don't like, you can augment the kind of favorite or avoided teams. And what that does is, let's say that I have this guy liking the Bills. That means that when we're computing the availability projections, we know that he's more likely to take Bills players. And so we build that into the prediction for whether he takes a Bills player or not, who he selects. And that will adjust the availability for players going forward. So this can really fine tune your draft, especially if you know the guys in your draft, guys or girls in your draft. Okay, so those are two things that I just wanted to point out. And if you happen to kind of get kicked out of your something happens with the internet, whatever, you can always re-enter and launch the live draft assistant, and it will pick back up wherever you happen to be in the draft. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so Hawkinson and Waller have gone. I still got a few picks away. Either Pitts or Goddard. Doesn't look like George Kittle is going to make it to me, and that's why he's not being recommended. Both Hawkinson and Waller going means that the likelihood that he's available is going to be pretty low for me. So the thing that I want to kind of figure out is, okay, if I take a Pitts or a Goddard here, what's going to be around from a wide receiver perspective? Will I be able to get my hands on like a Drake London? A lot of these guys in this tier actually are a little hurt, but I'll have a good chance at an Ayuk. Deontay Johnson, Godwin, Williams. So I'm okay with this tier here. I don't mind it. And there's no one really right now that I'm kind of dying to take. I guess a Drake London would be interesting. If if I feel good about the way that the Falcons are going to throw the ball this year, but honestly, with Desmond Ritter, I'm a little on the fence. Goddard was amazing in the playoffs. They have a really good offense, so I like where I'm at with Dallas Goddard. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Dallas, and there you have it. All right, so that's how you use the PFF Live Draft Assistant. If you have any questions, definitely hit us up at PFF on Twitter. And best of luck. Hope you crush your draft. I will show you at the end, by the way, what the grade was for my draft. So at the end of your draft, you can see the grade that PFF gives you for your draft and all the other guys in your draft as well. So you definitely want to stick around until the end. And I'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like here. I am back, and before I show you the results, I wanted to talk to you about the other leagues that you can sync and give you some quick hints and tips there to make sure everything goes well for you. So I used a sleeper league to show you that. I also am in a couple of Yahoo leagues, which you can sync as well. You can sync with all three. But ESPN is a little bit different. You've got to do a few things, and there's tutorial videos and step-by-step instructions how to do it. It's actually really easy. But in order to make sure that that goes well for you, you do need to keep your live draft assistant tab. So let me go back here, and your ESPN tab, they need to be in the same window for the sync to work. So just as you saw with my sleeper, I split the windows, makes it a little bit easier for me. Actually, I've done a couple of ESPN drafts as I've shown you, and it's actually really easy to have them in the same window. You can just kind of go back and forth. And of course, with the live draft assistant on PFF, we show you all the picks coming in. So you'll never miss your pick, and it works just fine. But in case you are doing an ESPN league, wanted to make sure you were ready to rock there. Okay, let me show you. I did a different draft right after because I forgot to capture the results from the one that I was doing. But here I was picking out of the 4 slot. I went with Travis Kelce. He's kind of a cheat code, I feel like, and people are sort of overlooking him. So I went with Kelce at 1, and then took Adams at 2, and Hurts. I really liked that top 3. Feel really, really good about it. Love Drake London. He's been getting just a ton of attention in Atlanta, as he should. I took Kittle and Ayuk. I'm a Niners guy. I think both these guys are going to have big years. Maybe you don't do that, but actually, Brandon Ayuk has been amazing against man coverage. I talked about that in my draft kit tips video. We have man and zone coverage data. Man coverage data, how receivers do against man coverage, way more predictive. So I encourage you to go check that out. You can find that on YouTube as well. Anyways, I got a grade here that I'm pretty excited about. You can also check out the grades of everyone else in your league, so you can go tell them, hey, I'm not sure you did great. Or you can find some guys, hopefully some players, he did not do great, that did really well. But as you can see, I feel like I maximized my draft thanks to the live draft assistant. Feeling good about it. If you're still prepping for your league, by the way, I have a whole video on how to take advantage of the fantasy football draft kit. It honestly has everything you could possibly need. Recommend that you go check that out. You get it for free with an annual PFF Plus subscription. So there it is. Enjoy dominating your fantasy leagues this year.